Alright, so bit of a update from my last video, or sequel I suppose you could say. We're here harvesting canola. We just got going. The moisture's had some rain the other day. The moisture's been quite average, so it's been taking our time. Just trying to get the moisture down because we have high moisture grain in the bin, so we couldn't start that early because I couldn't harvest high moisture grain with the risk of delivering that. So anyway, here we are, back into it. I suppose I'll just give a quick rundown. Yeah, just the cab of the header and yeah, what we think of it. Turn my two-way off. Just lined up in the run line just here. So to Headlamp Management, you press the button once, it returns your head of the cut height and engages your auto steer. So you just press your one button. That's something you all set up in the screen. I'll try and keep the camera off the yield monitor as much as I can because I know some people get a bit antsy about that. But I'm sort of sitting on around the 25 tonnes an hour average, I think I'd say. It's probably, I've peaked it a couple of times to about 30 to 32 tonnes an hour. And this is, we're slowly getting more comfortable with the header and seeing what it can do. I do know they have had them up to about 40 tonnes an hour in the canola before. And that, I should mention that we calibrate all our losses. We're very, very particular with that. So we have a bushel plus drop tray, which is just an electronic magnetic drop tray that you put underneath your harvester, and then you go along when you hit to capacity of the header, and then you press a little electronic button and it drops the drop tray down so you can measure your losses on the run. Highly recommend the product, is awesome. But yeah, so we know we've got our losses down to about 1% and under 1%, which is what we aim for. So if we go down here, the left side there is the road losses and the right side there is the SIB losses. So you can see the SIB losses are pretty much nothing. The road losses, there's a bit of road losses. So when the road losses go to up into the yellow, which if I push it a little bit harder, they go up to the yellow, that's when we're getting up around the 1%. So right now we're only about 0.5% losses, which is, I'm happy with that. So yeah, it's quite a high yielding crop, this one. This isn't that common for us to get a crop this high yielding. It's a bit spectacular for us, but we're pretty happy with it. So we're sort of sitting on about 28.5 at the moment. I'll show you quickly. 25, it goes up and down, fluctuates a bit. I don't like feeding it too hard, just because you can, if it doesn't feed perfect, you'll block the broad elevator up, which I think is something to do with, there's been an update that comes out and the beta is actually running slower than the rotors. So the beta, it has trouble feeding into the beta, and then that's where we block the broad elevator up. So, but that's something that AGCO will work on. They will change that. That doesn't bother me at all. And I'm still very happy with that capacity at the moment. It's still a very big jump from where we normally are. So I'm just going through a bit of a contour bank there, you can sort of see it. So to the header, joystick's pretty similar, pretty obvious, so simple, stay simple. I really like it. I know I've heard other people don't like it. They think the buttons are too clicky, which is, I understand that, but at the same time, get over it. I think it's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not here to it's a harvester. It's here to do a job. It's a tool, so it doesn't bother me too much. The button, the layout itself, I've heard what people also complain about, how the top of to put the reel up, you have to press the side of it, which I thought originally it was quite confusing, but I figured out, quite naturally, it's where your thumb sits if you hold the joystick. So if your thumb's like this, you actually, automatically, your thumb sits on the up and down button without moving your hand, if that makes sense. So it actually, it's hard to explain, but it actually makes a lot of sense. That's why they had the buttons like that. So it actually is very comfortable to hold. Obviously, so that's you reel up down side to side, you comb up down side to side, which you don't use too much. I use a little bit when I'm doing the through a contour drain. You return to cut, you auto steer, then your headland mode, which you press, when you get the end of the headland, I press that once, it lifts up, puts the reel down, so it clears the clears the cutter bar, sorry. And then once I press it again, when I come into my line, and it puts the cutter bar back down, raises the reel back up, and then engages your auto steer button. So pretty simple. That's auger in and out. So flick it out once hard, it goes beep, and that means your auger's coming out. And then flick it back in, or you press it to engage your auger, and then flick it back in, and it'll put the auger back in. Do it again, sorry. It's a bit of a strange one, that one. I'm not quite familiar with that, but it's getting there. It's a bit strange, but when you get used to it, it's not too bad. The screen itself, anyone that's driven a Fendt is pretty familiar with this. Yeah, pretty basic screen. Got all your settings up here. I currently run all my running bin totals down here. So I've got a bit faster here, I'm not paying attention, taking a video. So that's my running bin total for my averages and stuff, and then you can see all your settings and stuff down here. We see our rotor losses are right up right now. So we'll back that down a bit, drive the losses a little bit. I'm not too stressed. 1% losses is very, very low for Canola, or very low. It's where we should be. So, and then we've got our auto steer here. We've also got surround cameras, which is great, but you know, we don't use them at all. Oh, and the front camera is currently not working for a software issue. Don't use the front surround cameras at all. Put that back to info. And then we run to this screen up here, your iPad, and it runs all your yeah, your settings, and I don't know what you call it. Yeah, you got your map, sorry, up there, and you can change it across, and you'll see just different screens, how you want to look at it. And if you go across, it'll show you bar graphs of your productivity, your moisture, all that kind of stuff. Tabulates it, or bar graphs it, sorry, related to what you you know, to what you have been doing. So I don't know, it's a cool thing, but I've not used it at all yet. It's sort of a bit of a, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit of a gimmick, but I sort of just leave it on that one on the next screen and pretty much stays there all the time. So yeah, cruising along now. It's very cold here, well, not very cold. It's about 19, 20 degrees at the moment. So it's only really just come good. It's not very great harvesting weather. It's good that we're not getting much pod shatter on the reel. The reel's a bit low at the moment because it's so cold. When it gets a bit hotter, we do lose a little bit for pod shatter, but because the knife is so far forwards, all the pod shatter, the grain actually lands on the mats and comes through the header. So we have tested our losses on the front, and it's next to nothing. It's not worth worrying about anyway. So yeah, I'll try and stop talking and let you just watch it for a bit. It feeds in quite nice at the moment. It's a pretty heavy crop. Oh, I should mention my sample as well. It's a bit hard to see, actually looks very terrible at the moment. But the sample, it looks terrible in the window because all the stuff falls down in the window, but for anyone that understands the admixture and stuff, we're at about 0.4% admixture in total, 0.4%, which is just absolutely nothing. Like we can deliver up to 5% of admixture to CBH. So yeah, it's very, very little. So I can actually make my sample dirtier and it'll still be easily deliverable. So we're very happy with that. Yeah, well, hope you enjoyed. I'll try and get some more videos when we get into cereals. Something different, and keep you updated, and I'll probably release a video a bit later on when I get a bit more comfortable with the header, giving another update and another few thoughts on it, and you know, what I think, what can be changed, what can be better. So yeah, thanks for watching.